Hello, Merry Meet. So, one thing that's very often discussed within the occult is whether or not it is possible to change your physical body with magic. And very often there's two things that come up again and again and again: eye color swapping and gender swapping. And I think that when it comes to the eye color thing, it's because in the movie The Craft, that's what one of the girls do. She changes her eye color, and it's sort of caught on with all the little witchlets that have a little bit of a problem separating fact from fiction. And when it comes to gender swapping, well, very often when you see this on forums and various discussion groups, it is people that just cannot afford to go through the process and have operations done, and they're just desperate to try anything. So I said, perhaps Magick can do it. Perhaps. And I thought I would discuss this. But there's also, of course, other questions like, can you lose weight? Can you change how you look? And I would say the short answer is yes, you can. But it might not be as easy as you think. Now, what you have to keep in mind here is that you have direct magic and indirect magic. Now, direct magic is what you will usually see on fantasy TV series and in fantasy books. It's the eye toss fireball whoosh. It's basically the magic user does something that has an immediate effect in the world around them. So they change into an animal, or they toss a fireball, or they revive somebody from the dead. It's basically a direct effect right there in the world around them. Boom. Now, direct magic, I believe that it's possible, but it is a lot more difficult than indirect magic. Indirect magic is, generally speaking, what real occultism is about. It's basically a way to tell what you want to the universe, and it will then find a way to create it for you. More New Age types will call it manifesting. We call it the more witchcrafty and I can't talk today. Magician types tend to call it magic. It doesn't really matter. The point is this: you create your will and it manifests in your life, but it doesn't go poof. You will meet some opportunity that will make sure that this happens. So let's say that I want to lose weight. By direct magic, you poof, and you have a supermodel body. Boom. While I believe theoretically that is possible, and it's not something that, generally speaking, will happen. Indirect magic, however, is that, let's say I do then a spell to lose weight. I will then probably have things will place themselves so it's easier for me to do so. First of all, it might help to heal some of the mental and also medical issues that I have. For example, I have an extreme phobia of needles, to the point where I use a wire to take my piercings because I am terrified of needles, but the wire isn't a needle, so we are fine. So I haven't had a blood test done in a long time. So for example, let's say I do a spell to lose weight. Perhaps then I get that as a result, I find some drug, or it just snaps in my head, or something like that, so that I get that phobia under control. So that I get the blood test needed done, so they can figure out what's wrong with my, what's the English word? Metabolism. And then they find a cure for that, which makes it far easier to lose weight, and I don't have that uphill battle, and I lose weight. That's one example. Or if you haven't put some safeguards in effect, you might find that the easiest way is that, well, you are going to be sick for 2 weeks. You will not be able to eat and will just puke for 2 weeks straight. Oh, look, you lost some weight. But anyway, it will manifest through mundane means. And I believe it's the same thing that can be done when it comes to physically changing a body. When I started working with Magick when I was 10 years old, I had bright blue eyes, but I always wanted green eyes. I so wanted green eyes. And while I didn't really do a conscious effort to get green eyes, I constantly looked in the mirror and thought, I so want green eyes, I so want green eyes, I so want green eyes. And over a few years, my eyes did change color. They became, my eyes are sort of grayish green. Basically, it looks gray and sometimes in some lighting and green in other lighting. So it did actually get a shade of green. Now, again, this is where you can't really say it's magic or it's not magic, because it's not that unusual for a child's eyes to change color. Most babies are born with blue eyes, and for a 10-year-old with blue eyes to eventually basically the color changing to a grayish green isn't something that's remarkable. But I did really, really, really wish for it, and I do believe that I manifested that for myself. Like I said, it went through natural processes. Do I believe it's possible to do it like that? Like I said again, yes, but it is less. But it's like needs far, far, far more work. That is what we're talking about when somebody, the greatest of magicians that has been on the mountaintop studying for 70 years can do. It's not something that you are going to be doing after a year of reading witchcraft books. So, do I believe that it's possible to cast basically a glamour that will make will change your appearance towards what other people see it as? Yes, that's far more likely. At least if you choose a glamour that's not too extreme. So, for example, one time I did a spell to lose weight. And constantly people were complimenting me, no, you lost weight, you lost weight, you lost weight. And I checked my weight, I was exactly the same, the clothes sat the same, the jewelry was just as tight. So I hadn't really lost weight, but everybody, for months, people thought I had lost weight. And I believe that was a glamour. Now, of course, if it had been, oh, well, I'm going to look like Cindy Crawford, that's less likely to happen because then it's a much, much, much greater change. And then we are talking about much more direct magic again. But little subtle changes like that, absolutely. And more well, again, when you're talking about secondhand knowledge, it's much more difficult. But there are a lot of occult teachers that have said that they have seen people, especially you can see this really, really old, ugly woman, and then suddenly they see her in a new light and see that she's actually young and beautiful. And I do believe that is possible. But again, it's difficult. It's not something that you're going to be doing in your first year. So yes. But I believe that it is possible over time to manifest changes in your physical body, especially if those changes are physically possible. So for example, I want a different eye color. Well, some people's eye color do change over time. I want to be thinner or plumper. People that want that too. Also possible over time when it comes to things that are not that physically possible. For example, I want to change my gender. Then we are running into a bit of fun. Because that means that if you want to be a man and you have the body of a woman, your boobs need to go away and you need to grow a penis. Then we are talking about a very, very direct magic to make something like that happen, and it doesn't just happen naturally. I believe that if you really want to change your gender, it is far more likely to happen if you focus on manifesting it, so that perhaps you don't have the money, or the nation you are in is bigoted assholes and don't allow you, and so on and so forth. That when you start to manifest this, that opportunities will arise for you to actually have these chemical treatments and later operations to do so. And as in a way, then you have changed your physical body with magic, but you have done so by indirect means. I believe that is a much more likely outcome of, like, it's like Anton LaVey once wrote, it's easier to affect the minds of everybody in an entire nation through indirect magic than to make a glass of water move from one end of a table to another with direct magic. So you are much more likely to get what you want if you focus on direct magic. Like, take these eyes of mine that people love to make fun of me of. I mean, it's odd. I'm fat, and while I know that it's not just how much I eat, because I don't really eat more than anybody else. I mean, I'm not a health freak. I eat a normal diet. I could do some more exercising, but I mean, I would probably be plump, but not this weight if there wasn't a problem. And it's usually that with most people, there are some problem or collection of problems that lead to overweight. But a lot of people just don't want to hear that. They want somebody to make fun of. And I can understand how some people, when they want to stay ignorant, can see it as a person's own fault that they are overweight. But I get more bullied about my eyes that is a birth defect than my weight. What's up with that? Did I choose how I was supposed to look? Well, anyway, let's say I wanted to get more normal eyes. I believe it is possible, if you dedicate your life to it, to get to the point where you can directly affect this and heal the deformity, and it will just appear. But I believe it is far more likely to happen if I instead focus on manifesting it. So let's say I wanted to do that, and I'm not sure if I do, because I don't feel that I should have to look normal just to please idiots. But let's say I wanted to, and I started working magic for this. Perhaps then I would just be reading on the internet, and then I see that there are some sort of new plastic surgery that can deal with the issue. And suddenly either my economics, basically I got an opportunity economically so that I could afford it, or and some sort of program opened up so I could be able to get that surgery. That way I manifested the opportunities to have it taken care of, which is, generally speaking, a better use of your energies than to sit for 70 years and meditate on a mountain in the hope that you can do it like that. So, yes, I do believe that you can affect your physical body, but I believe that doing it indirectly is a heck of a lot easier than doing it in a direct manner, and much more likely to be successful. So you might ask me, have I ever seen direct magic? Yes, I have. Once. I had this little pet mouse. Her name was Chili Pepper. Little cute dancing mouse. And she was around 2 years old, which is basically the cap for those mice. And she got very, very ill. She was gasping for breath and having cramps. And I knew that we should have put her down then, but neither me or my mother had the heart for it. My mother, who is a Reiki healer, healed her, and she immediately calmed down and went into her little house. And we thought that we would find her dead in the morning. We thought that, well, it's amazing that she at least calmed down. She isn't suffering anymore. She's going to sleep and we will find her dead in the morning. But we didn't. Instead, she was out and eating, and she was a little bit sick, but not much. And after a few days' time, she was completely well and lived for another year. Her mother gave her healing novena then. That is direct magic. She was dying and gasping for breath, and her pain went away like that. That is the only piece of direct magic I have seen in my, what is it now, 24 years as an occultist. My mother has seen one more when she used Reiki on a microwave that had stopped working, and it immediately started working again, and worked until we got a better one, so we discarded it. So yes, I have had things affect me very quickly. Like once I was doing with my coven at the time, ritual of a cleansing ritual, and in the middle of the ritual I just got so sick, and basically it was immediately affecting me, and I have been doing magic and suddenly feeling ill and those kinds of things, but as a direct effect on the world around me, I have only seen it once. So yeah, it is not a common thing, though I have heard others have had experiences as well. So yes, I believe that you can manifest just about anything in your life, but the universe will generally then go through possible sources. So you want to manifest wealth? It will give you a job opportunity. You want to manifest changing your gender? It will manifest an opportunity to have those treatments and operations. You want to manifest a more healthy heart, a new kind of treatment will become available. Basically, you manifest it, but the universe will then basically, you send your will out and it will manifest through the laws of the physical universe we live in. So yeah, that is my 2 cents on the topic. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and blessed be.